Hello, bronies and other like-minded people of the internets. If you've watched KingofMercs' video, Rest in Peace, FadedBluePony, you probably know that she has died in a car accident sometime last year. When her first channel got hacked, and she made a new channel, I messaged her that I had saved one of her readings. I think she mentions it in a video. It's been a year that I've had the two MP3 files just left on my ForShared account with a password protection. And in that message, I gave her the password so that if she ever wanted to re-upload those, she could do it. But I have had no activity on those two files at all. So after hearing the news, during one of my history lectures, of all places, I decided that I should just share it with everyone. So here it is, FadedBluePony's Clopfic reading of Luna's Magic Wand. Enjoy.
Hello everybody, and welcome to my new fanfiction reading. In case you can tell by the title of this video, it is that was weirdly worded. What I'm gonna be reading is called Luna's Magic Wand, and it's by Raging Semi, and it was requested by a friend of mine. So she's named DirkWolf267. Yeah, she's a really good friend of mine, and she told me to read this. Just want to warn all of you guys, it's a really dirty one. Like, I don't really am going to be reading a lot of dirty ones, but this, like, the second paragraph already has something inappropriate. So, yeah. So, if you're not really into that, then you might want to skedaddle on out of here. I don't want to ruin anyone's lives or anything. So, anyway, let's get started on Luna's Magic Wand. Luna ascended the long spiral staircase to her bedchamber. She was worn out after a long day of royal duties. Those duties were mostly ceremonial. They were long, boring, and uncomfortable, punctuated sporadically by actual high-pressure decision-making that could impact the lives of thousands of human beings. It was made worse because Celestia had been out of Canterlot most of the day on a royal visit. She opened the door and found her sister already naked and sitting up in bed. She had her glasses on, reading a newspaper. Celestia had a long retinue of advisors and informants telling her what was going on in her realm, but she liked to read the paper to see what they hadn't told her. Luna slipped off her gown, undergarments, and slipped into bed. She rolled over to her sister. Celestia moved her arm out of the way so that Luna could rest her head on her lap. Luna smiled up at her. "So," Luna said, "how was your day? Did your day go? I hope it was better than mine. Did you enjoy your trip?" Before letting her answer, Luna latched onto one of Celestia's nipples and started sucking. This was a very old habit of hers. Luna found it helped her relax. So did Celestia, for that matter. It was often her favorite part of the day. Sometimes Celestia would sing her little sister to sleep like this. Celestia ran her fingers through Luna's long, luxurious blue hair, caressing her scalp. "It hasn't been bad for a day away from the office," Celestia answered. "Those young flyers weren't as good as the Wonderbolts, but they have some decent tricks. I saw my student. She was there today." Celestia started to hum a lullaby to Luna while checking the editorials. "Wait a minute," said Luna with a smack. "You mean Twilight? She doesn't have a pair of wings. What was she doing up in Cloudsdale?" "Oh," Celestia answered. "She was just going to visit a winged friend of hers that was in the show. She cast a cloud-walking spell just like I did. Took a balloon with the group." "Ha!" said Luna, teasing the nipple with her teeth. "That's fairly advanced for a girl her age." "That's nothing," Celestia said. "She actually first cast a flutterwing spell on one of her friends. Imagine, using a friend to experiment with dangerous magic." Some friendship. Flutterwing's spell? Luna asked. Yeah, the one with gossamer and morning dew? That's the one. Big, beautiful butterfly wings. That's incredible. I had no idea your student was so powerful with transformation magic. It's nearly as powerful as it gets. I can't believe she can do so much for a girl so young. You're not jealous, are you? Celestia smiled. Luna sat up straight in bed, on her knees. What? Jealous? Please. Why would I be jealous of your student? Isn't transformation magic one of your specialties? Are you worried about being upstage? Are you serious? That spell is nothing to power like mine. I merely commented on her being advanced for her age. She is insignificant. Oh yeah? Celestia teased. Let's see you do something significant, then. Luna scrunched up her face, stuck out her lower lip. Nobody could pout quite like Luna. She raised one hand and snapped her fingers. A few small sparks flew from her fingertips, and there was an audible sizzle of magic. The smile dropped from Celestia's face. Luna's pout turned into a naughty little grin. Celestia blinked in surprise. She looked her sister up and down. It was still the same Luna, sitting on her knees, naked on the bed. Petite frame, tiny, perky tits, pale, alabaster skin. There was nothing changed about her at all. No giant butterfly wings, animal parts, or anything else indicating powerful transformation magic. The only thing different about Luna was that devious little smile. Celestia looked at her own body. She felt her face with her hands. No apparent difference. She looked at her own hands, arms, grabbed her massive tits and held them up to look at them from different angles. Nothing had changed. They were still unmarred paragons of feminine beauty. Then Celestia realized that the lower half of her body was still under the bed covers. She looked back to Luna. Luna's grin had grown to enormous proportions, ear to ear. Luna rarely looked this happy. Celestia threw off her covers and quickly drew in her breath with a sudden gasp. She was paralyzed with shock. From her perspective, it looked as if her clit had grown to huge proportions. It was perhaps 2 inches long, just less than an inch in diameter. It appeared to be covered in one long sleeve of skin, ending just past the tip. Celestia could do nothing but stare at it. She kept watching it as Luna's face came into view. Luna's lips pursed. She kissed it once, twice, and she pressed her lips against the tip, and with a slurp, she sucked the entire thing into her mouth. Celestia could feel Luna rolling it around with her tongue inside of her mouth. Celestia was in ecstasy. She clutched her silk sheets with both hands. Luna withdrew it with her mouth just a bit before sucking it back in again. Celestia keenly noticed that the width of the thing had grown considerably. Luna wasn't rolling it around with her tongue anymore. There wasn't enough room left in her mouth anymore. She withdrew it and sucked back in again and again. Each time she pulled it out, it was longer, 3 inches, 4 inches, and was growing at the base as well. Finally, she sucked it in again one last time, made some gulping noises, rolled her head left and right a bit, and then slowly, very slowly, pulled it out of her mouth. 5 inches, 6, 7. With a loud smack, Luna let go with her mouth completely. The thing was crowned by a large, engorged pink head. Celestia had a massive man's penis, large even by Celestia's considerable proportions. What have you done? Celestia gasped. How did you know how to do that? Hey, said Luna, pouting a bit again. 1,000 years was a long time to spend in the moon. Alone. I have to find ways to amuse myself. Celestia wasn't paying attention. She was fascinated with her own cock. She reached out and gingerly touched it, feeling it up and down. She gripped by the base and slowly started sliding her grip up and down. She sighed heavily. Celestia was in heaven. Luna watched in amusement as her sister threw off her reading glasses, got rid of her pillow, and slid down to lie completely horizontally on the bed. Celestia was sliding her hand up and down her cock, faster and faster. Luna was proud of herself, but she chose not to interrupt. She just sat back and started to play with herself as well. Luna was really having fun watching her sister jack off. Celestia was pumping away furiously. Her eyes were wild. Her wrists were already tired and sore. But she didn't care. Hey, said Luna. Celestia ignored her. She was biting her lower lip. Hey, sis, Luna said again. Celestia still paid her no attention. "Sis!" Luna shouted, waving her hand in front of Celestia's face, blocking Celestia's view of her own cock in her hand. "What?" Celestia shouted back impatiently. "Can't you see I'm busy?" She was still jerking it. "I can see," Luna said. "I was just wondering if you were going to be playing with yourself all night, or if you were planning on fucking me sometime." Celestia looked at her sister, looked back at her dick, and looked again at Luna's pussy, where she was fingering herself. "Oh, hell yes," Celestia said. She bowled her sister over onto her back. Luna shrieked with laughter. She was glad she had been preparing herself. Celestia wasn't bothering with the foreplay. Celestia fumbled around with her dick, trying to stick it in the wrong spots. Luna had to grab it and ease it in herself. Celestia flopped down on top of her and awkwardly started thrusting in and out. Her sister is fucking me like a virgin, Luna thought to herself. I hope she hasn't got a hair trigger. Luna wrapped her legs around Celestia's hips and helped control her, calm her down. Luna had been taking plenty of men before, many well hung, but none of them had been her older sister. And she loved her sister more than anything else on earth. She was enjoying the best of both worlds. She marveled at how Celestia's enormous tits were flopping over her skinny body. Celestia's body was sliding up and down on top of her, but her nipples didn't move. Celestia, for her part, was in an entirely different world, impossible to describe. On one level, she was feeling a physical sensation she had never known before, and couldn't have even imagined. Luna's pussy felt smooth, soft, wet, as she penetrated it. It was a pleasuring nerves that Celestia didn't even have a few minutes before. On another level, the psychological effect was perhaps even stronger. Celestia was the ruler of the world. She could have anything she wanted at any time. She was responsible for the lives of millions of people. She was synonymous with power. Her closest companion, her sister, was always the only one who came close to being a rival, and now Luna was underneath her, being fucked by her. She had her scrawny legs wrapped around her. She was defenseless, helpless, white, lying on her back, lying and moaning. Power, control, domination. Celestia knew all these scenes well, but they felt different somehow from behind an erection. Celestia felt a new sensation, came from well behind the base of a cock. It welled up inside of her. It was the edge of an orgasm, similar to, but subliminally different from any orgasm she had known before, and yet she was losing it. Her whole body was soaked and slick with sweat. Her thighs and butt were burning, weak from being exerted in ways they never had been used to before. Her muscles were always finely toned, but they haven't been fine-tuned for pelvic thrusting. To make it worse, Celestia kept leaning back and looking down. She loved the sight of her dick penetrating her sister. She could barely take her eyes off of it. She had never been so much into visual stimulus before this. Celestia knew she wasn't very good at this. She knew that Luna could tell as well. Luna stopped her, told her to roll over. Celestia got off of her sister and rolled over onto her back. She reflexively started jerking herself off. Luna moved over and sucked on it again, moving up and down just a couple times. Then she got up and straddled her sister. Using her hand, she guided the cock back in again. Now Luna was in control, and she really knew what to do with it. Celestia was shocked again at new sensations. The fucking before had been uncoordinated, carnal, animalistic. This somehow was much different. Not necessarily better, but still amazing. Luna was lying down on top of her, face buried in her tits. She was working the shaft in and out of her own cunt. Ugh, I hate that word. It's just such a dirty word. Then she sat up, almost straight up. She was taking the whole thing in, all the way to the base and just slowly rocking it back and forth without moving it in or out. Celestia reached up and palmed her sister's small tits. She pinched her nipples in the point of flinching. She didn't often play with Luna's tits, at least not as much as the other way around, but in this position it felt so natural. Luna must have agreed, because she covered Celestia's hands with the palms of their own. She pressed them into her chest, smushing her little breasts. Celestia looked down. She couldn't see much. "I want to see," she told Luna. I want to watch me going in and out of you. Well, guys, I think we're gonna stop there. And I... This is gonna make a lot of men happy. Let's just leave it at that. See ya. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Luna's Magic Wand. Once again, it's a dirty one, so if you don't like that, just go away. I don't want to be rude, but just go away. You don't want to see this or hear it or whatever you're doing that involves myself as well. Anyway, let's just get started with this. There we are. Sorry, I couldn't figure out where we last let off. Anyway, Luna responded with a smile. She got up and offered for her sister. Celestia's cock slipped out of Luna and slapped against her belly with a wet smack. Ooh, that sounds nasty. It reached nearly to her own navel. Luna straddled her again, pulling her cock in, this time in the opposite direction. Celestia's eyes rolled into the back of her head. This, for a third time, was a whole new sensation. It was the angle of Luna's pussy that made the difference. The pressure was all focused on different parts of the shaft. Celestia liked this better. She also had a better view. Luna was sliding it all the way out to the base of the head and then slowly sliding it all the way back in. She shook and twisted her hips as she did so. Celestia watched it all, hypnotized by it. She slid her middle finger into her own mouth, getting it wet, and then prepared for when Luna rode her shaft all the way back up to the top. Celestia stopped her there, and she slowly inserted her finger into Luna's pale pink anus. She let Luna get back to work. Celestia was again amazed. She could feel her cock from inside of Luna. It was textured, vein. It heightened in the whole sensation somehow. Luna threw her head forward and then back. Her long blue hair cascaded across Celestia like a blanket. With her free hand, Celestia grabbed it all up and pulled on it gently, as she was doubly penetrating her sister. Both groaned in pleasure. Celestia could feel that sensation starting to return. She might be close to coming. Here, she said, pushing on Luna's back. Get up! Get on all fours! Luna complied. Do you want it in my butt? I'm sorry, that just sounds funny. Maybe later, Celestia said. This is fine for now. She mounted her sister, doggy style. This time, she used her own hand to guide her dick in. She's getting better! Ha ha! This is horrible. The angle was as good as before, but the feeling of domination had also returned, stronger than before. She had her hands around Luna's narrow hips, pulling her in as she thrust forward. She pounded hard. She watched fascinated as Luna's flesh rippled from the force of her blows. The sensation of an approaching orgasm grew stronger. Luna! Celestia gasped. Do it! Do what? Luna asked distractedly. She herself was also overcome with ecstasy. As much as Celestia had enjoyed the feeling of domination, she was enjoying feeling submissive to the only person more powerful than her own sister. The spell, Celestia said. Cast it again. Oh, Luna said absent-mindedly. She snapped her fingers one more time, and again small sparkles flew. Realizing what she had just done, she looked down between her knees. She half expected to see a pair of swinging balls. They were usually there when she was being mounted from behind. Of course she knows this. But of course, Celestia had none. Instead, she saw something much more interesting. She saw her own clit, impossibly large, and it was getting larger, growing, descending, widening, and then it was obscured as Celestia took her hand off of Luna's hip and took a hold of Luna's brand-new penis. Celestia was grunting now as she was thrusting into Luna, giving her a reach-around. She rolled the flaccid dick around her fingers, cupped it with her palm, tugging on it. It soon started to grow long and hard. She started jerking it off while still humping her sister. That sensation came on full. I feel like I have to be loud for this. The sensation came on full. "I'm coming!" cried Celestia. "I can feel it coming! It's coming out! All the way! I can feel it the whole way! It's coming! It's coming!" She shoved her dick in one more time as hard as she could, pulled it out, and slapped it on Luna's ass. She came all over her sister's back. Semen flew, landed in droplets, everywhere from the hair on Luna's head all the way down to her butt crack like a pearl necklace. "Where did that come from?" Celestia gasped. I don't have balls." "Don't know," Luna said. "Magic." Celestia nearly fainted. She realized she still had her sister's boner in her hand, so she let go before falling back onto bed to catch her breath. She realized she had no words to describe the sensation she had just felt. She would have to do this again. Celestia looked to her sister, wondering how she was feeling about her own new dick. Luna was sitting cross-legged in bed. She was looking down at it, stroking it lightly between her thumb and forefinger. She looked up into Celestia's eyes, her lower lip sticking out, one of Luna's irresistible pounce. "Oh, sweetie," Celestia said. "What's the matter?" "How come mine isn't as big as yours?" Luna asked sadly. Her dick matched the rest of her. Petite. "Aw." That's just cute somehow. Don't judge me. "Oh, sweetie, don't be sad," Celestia said, crawling over to her, kissing her on her thighs. "You'll always be my big girl. I love you just the way you are. Besides, there are advantages. Watch." Celestia slid Luna's little cock into her mouth. She had sucked many small cocks before, but none of them had been her sister's. I would hope not. Luna had obviously gotten over her feelings of inadequacy rather quickly. She laid back onto the bed, on her back, rubbing her sister's cum into the sheets and pulling on her own hair. She was in bliss. Celestia was deep-throating Luna. That was one of the advantages to Luna's size, but not the one Celestia was interested. She slid it out, played with the head with her tongue a bit. She took a long, deep breath and took it all in again, not even gagging. She didn't pull it back out, though. Instead, she slid her tongue out of her mouth and slid it down the up of Luna's pussy. She was effectively giving her sister a blowjob and eating her out at the same time. Luna responded with a scream of surprise and pleasure. She couldn't control herself. She wrapped her fingers around the base of Celestia's head and started thrusting, her small, tight ass bouncing off the bed. Celestia kept it for as long as she could. This was too much fun to stop voluntarily. 20 seconds, 30, 40. Finally, she forced Luna away from her, popping her dick out of her mouth, and took a big gulp of air. She barely had time to exhale before Luna sprang up and kissed her, knocking her backwards. Luna entered her sister before Celestia even knew it. Celestia looked down to see Luna pumping herself into her. Luna had her by her ankles, up high into the air and spread far apart. That was hardly necessary, as Celestia's hips were much wider than Luna's. Luna was looking down, though, enjoying the sight of her erection licking? I think it says liking. Well, erection liking into Celestia's pink, wet pussy. Just as much as Celestia had enjoyed the sight earlier. Celestia's limp cock was flapping around a bit. Luna let go of Celestia's ankles to take it into one hand, trying to jack it off. It was still too soon before ejaculation. Still, it grew semi-erect, a bit of a chubby. Luna let go and leaned forward for a better position, getting better leverage. Celestia looked down and watched her sister fuck her. It wasn't doing much for Celestia. She had to be honest with herself. Still, she felt proud, watching Luna labor away, almost motherly. Celestia grabbed one of her own breasts, propped herself up a bit, and stuck an erect nipple into Luna's greedy mouth. Luna latched on and sucked away. Luna's effort began to slacken. She herself was inexperienced as this. Are you close? Luna asked. Celestia shook her head. "Me either," said Luna, the lower lips sticking out again. "Hang on," Celestia said, pushing Luna off. "I think you need something tighter." She rolled over and buried her face into a pillow. She got up on her knees, sticking her ass into the air. With her hands, she spread her cheeks far apart. Luna, with one hand, began to tug on her sister's hanging cock. With the other, she stuck her pinky and ring finger into her pussy, getting them nice and wet. Then she slowly, carefully stuck her pinky into Celestia's tight ass. It went in smoothly. Pulling it out, she slid in the ring finger. This was a tighter fit. It went in more slowly. Then she put in both. Celestia's body was wriggling in excitement, and she soon relaxed her muscles. Luna stood up on her 2 feet. She squatted down a bit, stuck her new head against her sister's ass, and slowly pushed forward. The head slipped in easily, though. Luna stopped here, waiting for her sister to relax a bit more. When she was ready, Celestia pushed back on her own time, dropping the narrow shaft into her butt. Once in, all the hard work was over. Luna started pumping her hips. Celestia looked back. She didn't have a good view of her tiny sister humping away. She thought to herself that it was something she would like to see better. She just closed her eyes and enjoyed it. Luna was near a climax. Celestia could tell. She was fucking faster and faster. Celestia got up on her hands and arched her back. Luna reached forward and grabbed her tits from behind, squeezing them hard. "Oh my God!" Luna gasped. "Your tits! Oh, I love your tits!" Celestia smiled. She already knew this. Your tits, your tits. Wait, I've got to fuck your tits." Luna pulled out and let her sister fall into her backwards. She got up and straddled her chest. With both hands, Luna pushed Celestia's breasts together. She slipped her wet dick between them and started pumping. Celestia roared in laughter. She looked up at Luna's face to see it scrunched up in total concentration. She looked down to see Luna's little pink head poking in and out between her large white breasts. Celestia stretched her neck forward, stuck out her tongue, and licked Luna's head every time she poked through. Luna rolled her head back in ecstasy. She came without saying a word. She came everywhere, one massive explosion. Luna looked down to find Celestia's face was completely covered in semen. She realized she just came 3 or 4 times as much as her sister had earlier. Celestia's eyes were closed shut, cum all over her eyelids. It was all over her mouth. She had to breathe through one nostril. Ugh. I wouldn't like that. It was on her neck and chest as well. Luna smiled and lowered herself down onto Celestia's body to cuddle. Celestia managed to wipe the bulk of it off with a sheet. Luna laid Luna laid her head back between Celestia's sticky breasts and idly played with them. She was getting cum on her own hair and her face, but she was too overwhelmed to care. They lied there together for a long while in afterglow. They were overcome. They couldn't stop thinking about what just happened. "That was amazing," Celestia said. "Yeah," Luna said. "We should have done that earlier." "You're right. We should have. I wonder what else we could do with this magic." "You mean like different combinations and permutations?" "Yeah. Maybe like scissoring or something? Maybe we could fuck each other at the same time." They both sat up with a start, looking into each other's eyes. They looked down at their laps to find they both had full erections. That was quick. But I wouldn't know, so whatever. They both flung themselves into a scissoring position. Took a lot of maneuvering, but eventually they got their penises into each other's pussies. They began heaving and humping. It was very awkward, but they both realized it was only a matter of practice before they had it down. Soon they were both covered in sweat again and in coital bliss. "You know what I'd like to see?" "What's that?" I'd like to watch you fuck another girl. I'd probably jack off while you did it." "That's funny. I was just thinking the same thing about you. Should we bring somebody in? Some of the servants or something?" "No, they're too servile. We need someone else." "How about your student? Or some of her friends?" "Twilight?" Celestia asked. "That's the second best idea you've had all day. I wonder what kind of hijinks we could get into." And thus, Princess Molestia was born. Just kidding. Yeah, that's the end. Yay! That was an interesting one. I don't even know what to say. I honestly don't. But it was very nice, as much as I'd hate to admit it, but it was very nice. And I suppose I will see you guys later when I do my next fanfiction reading. It's also a request, and I forgot the name because I'm an idiot. I'm sorry, but Tomorrow, hopefully, if I have time, which I probably will. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye.